Welcome to Boots on the Ground, the 15-minute briefing, your daily roundup on veterans housing, advocacy, and solutions. I'm Yvette Jones Swanson, Army veteran, National Veterans Housing Advocate, and CEO of VetMentors, LLC. For more than 20 years, I've been on the front lines, housing over 5,000 homeless veterans and pushing for real change. In just 15 minutes, we'll cover today's wins, setbacks, and opportunities. From housing solutions and government policy to partnerships, publications, and training. This isn't just a show, it's a movement. Together, we're turning challenges into victories for veterans and their families. Let's begin.
Well, that was the wrong video. That's for the 15-minute Boots on the Ground that's starting at 5:15 p.m. today. Oh, well, should I even play the real video? But I really don't want to. I want to play y'all a video of some of what we're going to talk about today.
You need to watch this if you've ever wondered why a veteran with great credit and a pre-approval can still be homeless. I'm Yvette Jones Swanson, and I work every day to change that. Here's what's really going on. I'm working with an Air Force veteran. He served our country. He has steady income. He has excellent credit. He is pre-approved, but still, he's homeless. We've seen countless properties, submitted offers, but every time competition is fierce. Now we're in a highest and best bidding war for a move-in ready home. The truth, we need more housing for our homeless veterans, apartments, condos, new builds, transitional homes. If you want to help or just understand more, check out my U.S. Military Veterans Educational and Resources book series. Together we can make a difference. I'm Yvette Jones Swanson, Realtor and CEO of VetMentors. Thank you for caring. I'm a Realtor with Real People Realty and CEO of VetMentors.
So that video was good. It was good because we will be talking about, we will be discussing what AI, what does, and this just came to me that I should share because I share it in all the publications anyway. And this is the publication that we'll be learning about today. And how I started housing homeless veterans was 22 years ago as a realtor. I started housing homeless veterans at that time. But that wasn't the first time I had housed the homeless veterans by no means. I was my first homeless veteran to get housed under my understanding of what veterans need. But at that time, I wasn't even, it was rough. Let me tell y'all a little bit of backstory about who you're watching today. All this stuff back here, this is all wonderful, right? I got a proclamation right here from the senator. I've got some awards, tons of awards. I just have room for 3 right here from the state, from Main Street Organization of Realtors, from the Omega Lambda Chi. I'm also an Army veteran. I'm a publisher of a whole lot of publications. This is a U.S. National Guide, Military Veterans Educational and Resource Guide book series to teach you to do what I do. I've been housing homeless veterans for 22 consecutive years. But like I said, I was the first homeless veteran who I had ever housed. I was discharged with no benefits, with no resources. So for years, I had no resources and I became homeless. I was married to a Marine who was actively serving. However, he was very abusive. So I had to leave and keep leaving, but I never had anywhere to go. So I could never stay anywhere. So I always had to return back home to the abuser because that was a roof over my head. In opposed to being on the streets, the family, they didn't say, come on, Yvette, you can stay with us until you finish college. I was in college too, as a homeless female veteran, battered and abused wife. So I would go to the VA, ask for help. Where can I get help? And there were never, 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 never. When I say never, I mean absolutely none. No help whatsoever. They would turn me away every single time, knowing where I had to go back to, knowing if I didn't go back there, I would be homeless and on the street or in a junky car that I had. Chicago is cold. So I eventually graduated from college. Thank you so much. I eventually graduated from college. As you see in my title, I've got a master's degree. Oh, and I have a lot of other accolades under my belt. I'm also a realtor of 26 years, and I've got 14 I've got a designation as a military relocation professional to teach that designation class to realtors nationwide. I also have 14 certifications with the federal government, the state, and local, just to say that you are, and you have proven your qualifications to teach what you're teaching. You think over 22 years, and I've housed over 5,000 homeless veterans and still doing that to this day and teaching others how to do the same in my publications. My publication series is on TikTok over here. Hey guys, in my bio, it's in the description over here on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook. So please go read the description, because a lot of questions that you guys have are in the books. They're in the books. They're in the book. So some of the questions that you have, I'm going to refer you to a book to read. This is the new education for everybody. If you're not doing what I'm doing already, then this is your new education. So I want to welcome you all to my 1-hour overview of Finding Home. This is a nationwide resource guide for supporting homeless veterans. So you want to know how to support homeless veterans nationwide in your city, your state, even in your own home. You may have a veteran, which I did have a veteran who was moving back to Akron, Ohio, and Akron, Ohio has resources on page 91. So Akron, Ohio received resources from me, from sitting right here at my desk using AI. And I teach you how to use AI to find resources in your city, in your state, even in your own home. Because people, if you don't know what to ask for, if you don't know what, first of all, if you don't have an inclination of what resources are in our community for veterans, hold on a second, let me get my resource binder. All right. Whenever I go to a resource fair for veterans, I stop at the tables to find out what resources people have in their organization. So I went to a resource fair just last week, and I have not had the opportunity of organizing, oh shoot, it's a lot of them, all of these resources that I picked up just last week. It's a big binder of them. All of these resources now have to be put in alphabetical order. So if you don't know what's out there, then you won't know the prompts or the questions to use, period. But this book teaches you that. It teaches you what type of resources are in our community, because it's just not housing. It's just not housing. We as veterans, let me tell you, like, first of all, who is our uncle? Who is our uncle? He's everybody's uncle, but he's directly related to us because we are military veterans. And that's Uncle Sam. Uncle Sam. People say, "Ooh, I don't like Uncle Sam." Uncle Sam wanted you. Remember that? Uncle Sam wanted you to enlist in the military, but you didn't. And because you didn't, you're not directly related to our uncle. And whatever resources our uncle says he's got in his basket of goodies that veterans can access, as long as we go and submit an application, submit a claim, and we get approved, then those become our benefits. But a lot of veterans don't know what those are because they don't know where to go get those resources and those benefits. And that's what I've been doing for the past 22 years, or 20 years, because 22 and now it's whatever. But anyway, for the past 2 years, I have been incorporating AI in my business to help support veterans nationwide. Nationwide. I helped house a veteran in Hawaii, and I'm going to tell you how. All right, one moment, please. Hawaii, in this book, Finding Home, which is in my bio, is on page 73. I should memorize that because that's my favorite one of all. These are resources I sent to a veteran in Hawaii. And this is how I got a homeless female veteran housed in Hawaii. And not just these three, it goes on and it goes on. And all of these resources I found for her sitting in my seat. And not just Hawaii, Las Vegas, Akron, Ohio, Mississippi, Washington, D.C., Chicago, just yesterday, Texas. Well, Texas all the time. They're always calling. So, and I'm going to get to some of these questions. I'm not going to have you all loop up my mind trying to figure out the questions that you're asking me. So just go back and watch the video. At the end of the video, I'll come back and answer those questions. Thank you very much. But get the book because it teaches you how to do what I do. Along with, let me tell y'all how I got her housed. Okay, in Hawaii. I sent her these resources, and she was able to open the resources up, and she was able to call the numbers that's in her resource guide, okay? And she called the number. She said, Yvette, this is one of the housing places that I submitted an application to. Thank you for the hearts over there on TikTok. So she submitted an application to this place a year ago. She called because the phone number is in her resource guide. She called the phone number and they said, we've been looking for you. You have been approved for a unit since a year ago, but we weren't able to contact you. Well, this was a homeless female veteran with nowhere to go, possibly a new cell phone. I'm sure she still had her email address. And why they didn't email her within that time, I can't answer those questions. But when she made the phone call, they told her you had already been approved, so come and get your apartment. She contacted me via social media because I'm like, if I'm not down at the VA anymore doing workshops, then who am I here to service? Like, what do we have in our society right now that can be used and useful to others in the profession that I do as a realtor, as a veterans homeless housing advocate and consultant? What can I do to help serve the veteran population of homeless veterans who I've been serving for the past 22 consecutive years? So one day I just put it out there on TikTok. And I said, hey, I'm just curious, are there any homeless veterans that need assistance, that need resources? And to my surprise, and then not, because I'm like, there's homeless veterans everywhere, but I was receiving calls, well, via TikTok, not phone calls. I don't answer my phone, so please don't call me. You must have an appointment to speak with me, especially about business. And my veterans who are nationwide, they don't even have to talk to me. They don't have to talk to me, but some of them care to talk to me. So we do talk. after they start doing their work, because I may have to write a congressional letter, which I do. I may have to just want to talk to them and hear what they have to say, and just tell me how the resources went, because I need to know if the resources that I'm sending them, that they're contacting, is beneficial. So in that case, I'll talk to my homeless veterans who I'm serving. But people who are looking to do veterans housing, to serve the veterans community, then you need to read. You need to get the library of books, and you need to read, and you need to learn what I do. I'm not just going to talk to you on the phone just because you say, I want to do veterans housing. That's wonderful. I wrote a book for that. And this book came out on Amazon as a #1 in U.S. military's veterans history. It came out a #1. So this book will teach you how to set up shared living models for veterans, for senior veterans, women veterans, justice involved veterans, disabled veterans, veterans of domestic violence, veterans LGBTQ plus communities. So my books will answer a lot of questions you have. And if there are questions that are still remaining, then you schedule a consultation with me to discuss your business. That's how I operate. I used to talk on the phone so much. Oh my God. My one of my best friends from my adulthood, Camille Wright Huff, we were on the 57 going south, and my phone was ringing constantly over and over. And I remembered everything about everybody, so I got them all housed, right? But during that ride home, Camille, she was like, Yvette, just pull over, get off the expressway, and let me out of your car. I will call a cab. It was just that serious. If my phone rang and I knew on the other side it was a homeless veteran, or it was an agency, a social worker, case manager, human care professional calling me to tell me that we have a homeless veteran, I was on it, Johnny on the spot. Well, right now I don't have to do that. You want to learn how I was able to house over 5,000 homeless veterans and teach an additional 50 agents how to do the same? Because I couldn't do all that by myself. I had a team, and sometimes my teams were amazing. Some of the teammates, they were like, Yvette, I can't do this. It's too much. I can't. And it's okay. It's not for everybody. But I do equip you in my U.S. military veterans educational and resources book series so that you can learn. You want to start your own shared living models in your own property, or buy some properties and do transitional housing, you can do that. Read a book. If you are a social worker, case manager, human care professional, and you don't want to turn veterans around because you only know HUD-VASH, you only know the agencies that you've been taught to know, and the agencies that you can refer veterans to. If you don't want to turn them away homeless, then get this book. And I also did a 4-part series right here on YouTube. It's here forever. So just go to YouTube and watch the 4-part series and get this book. If you're a social worker, case manager, human care professional. Remember, I told you I'm also a realtor. I've been a realtor for 26 years. I've been with Real People Realty now since 2011. And realtors always ask me, Yvette, how do you get paid housing homeless veterans? Easy. It's a transaction. I have cultivated relationships with landlords, investors, property managers, builders, you name it. They have vacant properties. They call me and say, hey, Yvette, I'll talk to you. I've got a vacant property over here, and I would like for you to fill it. Guess what? With a veteran. That's my specialty. Don't hate. If I was in luxury sales, then I would have luxury owners calling me and saying, Yvette, I want you to fill this property with someone who can afford it. So my investors contact me and say that you have some veterans who need housing. Well, of course I do, always. And because that investor will be getting paid for his or her rent, that investor is going to pay the real estate company that I am licensed under my commission, our commission. That's just that easy. Over 5,000 of them have been housed, and I have gotten commissions in the six figures because nobody is housing homeless veterans. They're like, how you get paid? But no fret, this is a class. The book has been approved by the IDFPR. It was already approved by a 3-hour, but I'm putting it back in for 6 hours because 3 hours ain't going to teach realtors how to do what I do. And you got to read the book. One thing about me, I'll let you know this. And I'm not going to say I'm a perfectionist, but I am a perfectionist about what I do in this homeless veterans community. And I don't like redundancy. And unlearned people will hit a nerve. I don't even know how to say it any other way. Because if there's information out there, and I'm telling you that there's information out here for realtors to learn, for you to do veterans housing, for social workers to learn, for nurses and licensed professionals to open a veteran care home as an entrepreneur and get paid by various agencies, then get the books to learn. What I don't do, and I won't do because we're all adults here. I made sure to set my settings to no one under 18 for this reason right here. If you want to know what I know, if you want to do what I do, then get a book. You might have to get, it's an encyclopedia for veterans to learn how to work effectively in the veterans community. Get the books. If you want to be a stockbroker, if you want to be a realtor, guess what we had to do? Read. So some of the questions, and not to be mean to anybody, but just to be professional, because some of the questions that I'm going to read off, if it is a question that I have in a publication, then I'm going to direct you to that publication. When I set up my private groups, then we can have open conversations about exactly what I do in the background. Is that good for y'all over here on? That looks kind of too big. I was adjusting the camera for TikTok. So we've got a little 8 minutes before the half hour. So I'm going to review some questions and see if I can answer them or say thank you. And I will answer them directing. Ooh, you guys over here on YouTube have really been tossing out a whole lot of questions. Okay, here we go. Go grab some water because we're going to go through some Q&A right now for about 5 or 7 minutes. This is one topic I can talk about all day. All day. My sisters will tell me, okay, Vet, that's enough. Friends will tell me, okay, Vet, that's enough. But to me, it's very serious. And I suppose it's very serious for you all who have stuck around. So such an important topic. Thank you for sharing this. You're welcome. And over here on how does AI make the process of finding homes easier for veterans? Oh, Richard, it's in the book. There's some prompts that you have to know to put into your AI, and it'll answer that. I also created a bot with a series of questions that'll take you here, there, and everywhere. But you can do the same thing just using your regular AI, but you have to know the prompts to enter for that question. And it's in the books. What's the biggest challenges veterans face seeking stable housing? I think you ask me this question almost every week. Credit, and the book that's in Finding Home, what we're going to discuss today. So make sure you go grab that publication. And who is after? I think, who is this? Oh, how does AI make the process of finding home easier? It's in the book. knowing the prompts, knowing what resources are out there, and then putting the right prompts in to bringing those resources to you. What's the biggest challenges veterans seeking? I did that one already. How quickly can someone apply these stages and see results today? Immediately. Veterans would contact me, and within, I would say, because I want to set it up so it can be in a nice professional manner, and it gets to their email. So I set up, when they call me, I'll set up the prompt, and this is what comes out. So you can use this immediately. You want to help a homeless veteran, this is the book you need. Are there government programs you recommend combining with this guide? All the government programs, once you learn how to use the guide, the prompts are there, and you'll find all of those government programs, community programs, state and local. What inspired you to write these books for veterans? Because I got, nobody understands, when I'm a realtor, and realtors, literally, realtors can wipe out veterans' homelessness. In Illinois alone, in Main Street Organization of Realtors, there are 19,000 realtors. In the state of Illinois, I think it's like 2.6 million, but you can ask Alexa how many realtors there are. So let's put it this way, and I do an analogy of Illinois realtors, 2.6, I believe. But in Illinois, when I did the count here, in Illinois, there were 3,000 homeless veterans. Only 3,000 in the whole state of Illinois that was counted in this count right here. So we've got 2.6 million realtors. And we can double team one homeless veteran. 6-7 veterans on one, 6-7 realtors on one homeless veteran. All we have to know is where those resources are. But I can't keep talking. When you learn something, you learn it in class. You learn it in a book. So that's what inspired me to put the information in publications. I've been housing homeless veterans without a guide. I had to create my own guide. And for 22 years, housing over 5,000 homeless veterans and getting paid as a realtor, I'm like, I can't do this anymore. I turned 60 years old this past July. You think I want to keep opening doors and no, that's a lot of work. So I put them in guidebooks. That's what inspired me to teach the nation how to do this now, because everybody is saying, I want to house homeless veterans. You want to house homeless veterans, then get the book. Create some transitional housing for them. You want to help homeless veterans get on their feet better, then get the book and help them go from boots to business and everything in between. This book isn't out yet, but it's coming out. That's what happened to me. Everything and all of my guides is what happened to me. Everything over 22 years, and me perfecting what happened to me and what's happening in the community today. That's why I wrote the books, because people want to ask me questions and think one answer will be, hey, good morning, big sis. That one answer will be enough, and it won't. I'm going to go up. So over 800 people here and only 11 likes. Oh my goodness. That's, people don't like homeless veterans. Y'all just coming here for looky-loo. You're not coming here to learn. Thank you for that, Miss Lisa. I appreciate that very, very much. Yes, hit the like button. Everybody is here saying they want to, they're concerned about homeless veterans. Everybody is here because what did you see? A guide for homeless veterans powered by AI. Yes, I help house homeless veterans nationwide, powered by AI. Great live. Looking forward to the next session already. Thank you, Adam Wayne. And make sure you get the publication so you'll know what I'm talking about, because I don't go in grave detail. I do not read to you guys on here. So make sure you get the publication, get educated, and support my cause. Nobody paid me to write these books. I started writing, and then I'm like, wait a minute, let me go ahead and create myself a publishing company. So I'm the writer, my intellectual property, over 22 years of boots on the ground, and my publishing company. I write what I know about. And I'm like, oh my God, this is phenomenal. Let me see. Thanks for answering question in real time. So helpful. Paula Jenkins. Paula Jenkins, it's my pleasure. I'm loving the discussion. So much value. Thank you. Thank you. Let me see here. Oh, what is this? What's this? What's the myth about veterans homelessness you wish more people knew? That everybody can learn how to help house them. That's it. That's what I wish everybody knew. Everybody. I'm getting ready to go back to the 9th because I got a phone call after I got a phone call from a veteran with a 2-bedroom voucher who was looking for a fully furnished apartment. And then guess what happened? The next day, an investor sent me her list. It's not even on the MLS because I don't post my rentals that I represent on the MLS. Why? Because I've got both parties. And as a realtor, I get 100% commission. I don't have to share my veteran with anybody. I don't have to share a listing with anybody. So this is a 2-bedroom furnished apartment, and that's exactly what he was looking for with his HUD-VASH voucher in an opportunity area that will pay $2,500 a month rent, provided he has enough money to pay his tenant portion of 30% of his income. I mean, it's a calculation that I can't go into because I didn't design the program. I was wondering if they had cut the no, ma'am. No, and it's a lot of vouchers being issued. I'm getting a lot of calls every day. I'm like, yep, the vouchers are starting. The vouchers are starting. So yesterday I sent engagement letters to 28 organizations here in the Chicagoland area, because these are the organizations that will be getting the funding, more funding outside of HUD. So these organizations get the funding to house additional homeless veterans outside of the HUD-VASH voucher. Exactly. So you've got Thresholds, Heartland Alliance, Volunteers of America, A Safe Haven, Catholic Charities Chicago. So all of these organizations will receive additional money outside of HUD-VASH. And this isn't just for Chicago. This is nationwide. All of these. So this last fiscal year, these are the agencies that received $3.8 billion nationwide. And it starts in Alaska all the way to West Virginia. As a matter of fact, the Helping Heroes, Inc. of West Virginia Community Action Partnership received a little over $3 million. $3,093,604. So these agencies, in addition to HUD-VASH, that's the Section 8 voucher specifically for veterans. And that's not the only voucher veterans could qualify for. That's what realtors don't understand. When I'm housing a homeless veteran, they're going to somebody's real estate, right? And whoever owns that real estate is going to receive rent every single month. So if that investor is going to receive some money, I'm a realtor, baby. I done put this partnership together. I get paid too. I'm the cord. So not to take the place of Christ Jesus, not at all, not at all. But in that transaction, I'm the cord. I brought them together. So I get a commission. How many times a day can I do that? And one day when I was down at the Jesse Brown VACRRC, I did 22, and that was by myself. 22 homeless veterans in one day, and not even 8 hours. Not even 8 hours. You know how I did that? Oh, I teach realtors how to do that in the blueprints. I do. Okay, let me see. Can policymakers use this guide to improve funding? Oh my God. Oh, Clayton Jr. Yes. And look, Clayton Jr., this book, this binder right here that you can see, these pages, these are congressional letters giving these senators, hold on, Senator Durbin, y'all know that name, Representative Senator Tammy Duckworth, wait a minute, Congressman Bill Foster. I mean, these, and Honorable John McGuire of Washington, D.C., of Lynchburg, Virginia. His office actually called me. So can policymakers use the guide to improve funding decisions? Let me tell you the guide that I told them that they can do. And they can use these guides to help guide them. But I told them here to create a universal emergency veteran relief fund, create a rapid response fund for all veterans in crises, regardless of injury status, income bracket, or county of residence. This letter went to a lot of people in the area that surrounded this one veteran, because if a veteran is homeless and he or she contacts me and I provide them resources like you find in Finding Home, I also send our congressional leaders a letter, because, you know, I'm not saying all of these politicians know what's going on. They know that there's homeless veterans. Why? They may not know that. They may not know where all this money is going, this 3.8 billion, and this fiscal year will be 4.2 billion. This is where the money is, and this is how I'm successful as a realtor, because I know where the money is. So a lot of this money, and we all know it has been mishandled and the veterans have been mistreated, because when a veteran contacts them for services and the agency says, well, you don't qualify, well, you know what? Do a universal emergency relief fund. If they don't qualify under this checkbox, put them in the emergency relief fund and redirect that money to the emergency relief. Simple. Amazing energy. And I'm over. Thank you so much. And now let me check over here on TikTok. I'm going to stay on after we're done over here on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. You know how we do it on TikTok. So let's get into it. I am going to just say thank you all once again for being here. And if this show matters anything to you, please click like, share, and follow. And I also go to my bio and buy the publications, because 22 years of housing homeless veterans wasn't enough. It wasn't enough, because we still have homeless veterans. And it's not enough people who know how to house homeless veterans. I do this as a living, but first I do it as a passion. I do it because I believe it's my calling from God. I went through horrific hell to get here, to share these stories with you in these publications, to teach you how to take that journey, teach you how to take homeless veterans on a journey to homelessness. I mean, to homes, to being homeowners. That's what I teach you how to do. I was in the Army, and I was a female veteran of military sexual trauma by my drill sergeant, which caused horrific anxiety. And I still have, I don't want to claim it, but what's true is true. And that's the reason I'm still here, because when veterans call me and tell me they're homeless, we talk about it. We talk about what got you here, and what help do you need? What benefits are you receiving? What resources do you need right now? What are you going through so we can make you whole? And in this book helps you do that. It helps you make a veteran whole again. It's not just about finding a place to live. It's about creating a sense of being again. Because once veterans leave the military, that's a big, big, big part of our lives. I didn't spend a whole lot of time in the military because of the anxiety my drill sergeant caused me. But the time that I spent there was enough for me to say, I need help. When they discharged me from the military, I had no resources. I was discharged honorably. It was nothing that I did wrong. Nothing. So when I was discharged, I came home with no benefits, no school money, no disability check, no unemployment. I didn't even know I can go down and apply. Nobody told me nothing. When my father died and my mama moved, my younger sister and I became homeless. Our older sisters, they didn't know what to do with two young girls. We were rambunctious and we had boyfriends and they weren't shit. I ended up marrying mine. He was a Marine. I'm thinking he's going to be my knight in shining armor. He was a fucking nightmare. He was a batterer and an abuser. And I kept having to run away for my safety. And every time I ran away, I went to the VA because I'm a veteran and he's an active duty service member. The social workers and the case managers, the reason I wrote this book is to teach social workers, case managers, and human care professionals and first responders, because yes, I will contact the police. I even had an order of protection, but he kept coming back because it was his grandmama's building. I had nowhere to go. So I teach social workers, case managers, human care professionals, first responders, how to find these resources instantly. For the young lady who asked me, how soon can you use this information? Instantly. I teach you how to use AI in all of my publications, because there is AI, it's making my job, making my profession even easier. And I teach you how to do the same. So I was homeless all that time. And in school, I stayed in school. Some days I would go to school after sleeping in my car or on the bus all night, or, wherever I was. I stayed in school. You see, I've got a master's degree. I didn't let that stop me. I got my bachelor's degree during that time and became a realtor a little bit after that and found the veterans community. And I'm like, you know what? I know exactly how to help y'all. And I was the first realtor who was a veteran at the VA, Jesse Brown VA and Hines VA, teaching social workers, case managers, and human care professionals how to house homeless veterans. They weren't housing professionals. They were social workers put in that position to find housing for homeless veterans in HUD VASH. They're like, what? How do we do that? I've been in my house for 35 years, Yvette. I've never had to find an apartment. Some of them said, I just graduated college. I don't know how to find an apartment. I went home to my parents. So this book teaches you how to find resources and housing for your veterans who you are caring for. And I also did a full month overview training of this on YouTube. So go back and watch it. Get the book and then click like, join, and do all that stuff. Follow me. So that's why I do what I do, because I've been through it and I know how to guide you through it. You are a real estate organization. I can come and, because this will be licensed again as a 6-hour, I can come and teach you. Everybody has to get the book. So don't be saying nothing. Otherwise, you won't be having my class. Got to get the book. What else? So we talked about these two for realtors, social workers. You want to create transitional housing. You say, Yvette, I want to house homeless veterans. What do I do? Get the book. That's what somebody asked me the other day. What do I do first? As if, really? So, these two, I've got two more. This one is coming out next. Veterans from Boots to Business, finding your passion in your business and AI to help you get there. I've been housing homeless veterans for 22 years. AI has helped me do all of this nationwide. This book is coming out specifically for Chicago veterans. I thought, I had a couple conversations with Bally's and they turned around and said, no. So Bally's is not the sponsor of this book. I'm still looking for sponsors. So if you want to sponsor, give me a holler. And we're looking to give away 500 of these books if we get $3,500. If we get more, then we'll be giving away these books to veterans in the community for free. But you got to be a sponsor, major sponsor, starting at $3,500. And your name, your business will be on the front, and your business will be all up in this book because you are the sponsor, and other, you'll go a long way. So let's talk about finding home for the last 15 minutes of this session. So finding home, I wrote this and I also designed the cover using AI. Because when service members come home, and I've got a video with a 15-minute boots on the ground, the 8th. So go back and watch Justin Smith's video, his interview. So and this, I'm just saying this is me, but it's also all veterans who come home with nowhere to live. But look at it. We're still in our uniform, still on guard, over a whole community of houses that we can't even access. But everybody looks up to us. Thank you for your service. I had to hold back my tongue. But that's how we feel. That's how we feel. That's how we feel. We're you know who we are. You know who we are because you walk past us on the street. You might toss 50 cents in the cup and still say thank you for your service. Or you might say, you dumb ass, you went to service. Whatever it is you say, but you know who we are. And you don't know what to do. That's why I wrote this series, to teach you what to do. So you can stop saying thank you for your service and do something about it. So that's what's in this book. That's what's in this book. This book has 8 chapters. It talks about unique, and we're talking about finding home. It talks about unique housing options, because think about it. If you have a veteran who is just as involved, and I've had several veterans who were released from incarceration. What? Who's going to house them? Where do they go? I've had veterans. One veteran had 170 hits on his criminal profile. 170. Who is going to house this man? Well, the VA called me. And guess what Yvette did? Got him housed in a 2-bedroom, brand new rehab, single family house. The owner said, Yvette, I'll take him. He had a fiduciary. Does anybody know how to work with the fiduciary? Does anybody know what a fiduciary does? And I got a full commission. Yes. Unique housing options. So you may have veterans who are being discharged from the hospital. They don't want to go to a nursing home. They may not even have family, like the veteran who I housed in here twice. Well, she's in the other book. I housed a senior veteran, 75 years old, 2 times because the VA turned her around homeless. They didn't know what to do with her. Oh, here's a list of resources. Call these numbers. My name is on the top of that resource list, and I'm so glad I answered the phone. I was at Fannie Mae eating my weekly chocolates, and the phone rang. I'm like, ooh, it's a 773. That's my old area code. I answered the phone, and it was this little old 75-year-old feisty Army retired, 100% service connected and Social Security, 3 tours of duty, 2 bronze medals. Her video is also here on YouTube, so go back and watch it. You will hear her talking. I housed her 2 times. 2 times. The first time I housed her, that the second night she had an episode and we had to take her to the hospital. My husband and I came to her apartment and we met her and called 988, and the ambulance came and took her to the hospital. We didn't leave the hospital till 2 in the morning. I came back the next day. She wanted to take a shower. They didn't even let her take a shower. So I had to shower her because they said she was a fall risk and there was nobody there to stand with her until she was finished taking the shower. She wasn't a fall risk. They just said that because she was 75. But I stood there with her and watched her back. Then they shipped her off to a mental institution far away. And I had no knowledge. 21 days later, they released her. She went to the VA. She spent the night. They did an assessment, did blood work, did all of that. Discharged her the very next day, homeless. The apartment you asked, where I put her in the first time, the owner said, Yvette, I can't take care of I can't. It's a 2 flat. He didn't even live in the building. I said, I understand. The second time she stayed there, and that's where she died, in her own bed, asleep. She was tired of nobody being able to help her, but she rested peacefully in her own bed. I housed her twice. So that's what gives me peace about this. And I help you learn how to do the same in all of my publications. So nobody can say that I didn't know what to do. We've got a homeless veteran, Yvette. Can I send them to you? I can't help everybody anymore. I'm only one person. That's why I wrote the books. So you really want to serve in this community. You are where's my real estate book? You are a realtor and you want to learn how to make some additional commissions. Or you say, you know what, I really, really want to learn. So then get the book so you can really, really learn. I teach you everything. I used to conduct veteran housing and home buying workshops at the VA and the VetMentors for 13 years. I teach you how to do that in this book too. You can conduct workshops and seminars anywhere because there's veterans who need the information. But how do you break into that? I teach you how to do that. I've taught these workshops for the city colleges, for the federal prison, for Cook County Jail, for Prairie State College, city colleges, if I didn't say that already, for various municipalities, all on the veterans support. So get this book. Social workers, this is your book. So you can stop turning veterans away. You want to create housing, then get this book. Okay, let's get back to it. So we have, as of the latest available data, and I'm reading directly from the book, just a sentence or two. Here are the statistics regarding homeless veterans in the United States, separated by gender. You have male veterans. There were approximately 37,252 veterans are experiencing homelessness on any given night. Write that number down. 37,252 homeless male veterans on any given night. Male veterans make up about 90% of the total homelessness. And all of this information has been sourced. I'm an educator. I used to teach on the college level as an adjunct. I wrote for the ICC, the International Code Council, as an instructional designer. I was a corporate trainer at Chase. So I am a professional at what I do. So, and all of my information has been sourced. So you can go look it up yourself. Veterans who are homeless often face challenges such as mental health issues. Let me tell you why we face challenges of mental health issues because we're homeless. There was a housing program that started years ago, and it's called Housing First. Go on va.gov and look it up. Housing First. Well, when I was on that at the round table, when talks were introducing that, and I'm like, oh, nah. And I said to everybody, that's not a good move. It's not a good move to put a veteran in housing first right out of homelessness, because right out of homelessness, the veteran is coming literally from maybe behind a Dunkin' Donuts garbage can, literally. He slept on a mattress. I mean, just some odd places where that's where they wanted to be. And veterans who are homeless and they don't have anything. So now you're doing housing first, putting them in an apartment that's empty. How does that help the mental health? So my thing was, you put them in transitional housing that's set up to care for them first. That's where you put them, in a warm bed where they can have a bathroom, a kitchen, people to come and share resources. You have the VSO coming. You got other professionals coming to do workshops, and you got you're helping them submit claims for their disability. You're helping them get their identifications. You're helping them enroll in school using their VA status. You know, you're helping them establish themselves before they go into permanent housing. This is the springboard to that. This is the safety net, transitional housing. And then once they say, okay, you know what, they might be there a year, maybe two. And the program that I teach you all how to find are all in this book right here, Finding Home. So the programs to help support your transitional housing unit is all compensated through various organizations. And this book helps you do that. Finding Home and the Transitional Shared Living Guide models help you do both of those that I just mentioned. And then if you want to know, really, you're going to have to know how to work with social workers, case managers, and human care professionals. So I know I didn't get into a lot of Finding Home, but you got to go get the book, because I am going to do a lot of background to help bring you up to where we are after 22 years of me never sharing. And it's not that I was gatekeeping how I've been able to house over 5,000 homeless veterans as a realtor, because I tell everybody that that's what I do. You know, and it's not an easy process or an easy conversation to have. And then you get, it's not like, okay, here's a tire, you're going to change a tire. Take off all the look. First of all, raise it up. It's not that easy. Okay, next, secure the whatever it is, and then start taking the lugs off. All right, now easy, pull the tire off, sit it to the side, clean it up around there, spray it good, you know, and then put it. It's not that easy. So if you ever think I'm going to come on here and tell you step by step how to house a homeless veteran. I'm not, because it's not that easy. If it was that easy, I would tell you, but it's not. That's why it's in all of these publications. You're going to have a math class, you're going to have a science class, you're going to have a history class, you're going to have a whole semester, and then a whole year, then the next year. That's just how deep this gets, because I didn't even mention federal, state, and local contracts. Say what? Yes, because agencies pay for you if you, well, we won't even talk about that because it's 11 o'clock. Thank you all for watching, and go ahead and grab the publication Finding Home. Go to my bio and ask me some questions that you've read about in the publication that maybe you didn't understand, but I write it so that a fifth grader can read and understand. I learned my lesson. Thank you. God bless you. And love on a veteran, and with some knowledge this time.
Across America, too many of our heroes return home only to face another battle, the fight for stable housing. Veterans are overrepresented in the homeless population, often caught in a system that is complex, slow, and full of barriers. At VetMentors, we're changing that narrative. For over 20 years, we've been boots on the ground, not just identifying the problem, but building real solutions. That's why we created the U.S. Military Veterans Educational and Resource Guide book series, a groundbreaking collection designed to educate, equip, and empower. These guidebooks are written not only for veterans, but also for the communities, organizations, and leaders who serve them. From step-by-step housing models to funding strategies, this series gives social workers, case managers, realtors, and first responders the tools they need to act with speed, dignity, and impact. VetMentors believes housing is not charity. It's a mission, a responsibility, and a pathway to restoring honor. Every guidebook in this series is a resource designed to make sure no veteran is left behind, and no community has to say, "We didn't know how to help." This is how we turn challenges into victories. I'm Yvette Jones Swanson, Army veteran, CEO of VetMentors LLC, and I invite you to join us in rewriting the story for America's veterans.